Welcome to 20 Metre Restart Agree to Disagree Rugby League Podcast. I'm Hoonz.
I'm Nick.
And we would like to say good morning.
All right, well, results from the weekend. Not that they were super important, but Rabbitohs smashed the Tigers 51-10. Warriors just over the Raiders, 20 points to 16. Panthers upset the Storm, 22-16. Dragons over the Knights, 24-14. Cowboys win a thriller against the Titans, 30 points to 26. Roosters comfortably beat the Parramatta Eels, 44-10. The Sharks beat the Bulldogs, 30 points to 18. And the Broncos beat Manly, 48 points to 16. Hoonz, which team impressed you the most?
I'm going to be biased. I thought the Cowboys were the team that performed for me. Yeah, man. Like, I'm just biased. I didn't care. But what left me with a remarkable impression was JT's last game, and he basically just dragged the Cowboys back in the second half to win that game. It was just unbelievable performance from a legendary player, the future immortal.
Yep.
And I'll just leave it there because I know that we're going to talk about the man himself sooner or later in this podcast. What about you, Nick? Who impressed you the most?
I'm going to have to say the Rabbitohs. I think they struggled the last few weeks and they've been in doubt for a premiership, but they were dominant against the Tigers. I think they had over 2,000 running meters opposed to Tigers' 800 running meters. It was a record, that gap between the two. So it was, here we go, 63% possession to the Rabbitohs.
That's ridiculous.
It was just such a dominant performance. And it's good to see them hitting their form now. Because I'm not going to lie, I was worried. I thought they were in strife heading into finals. And I think they needed that, and they got it. And moving on, just briefly, I wanted to mention this. Sam Burgess re-signed for 5 years till 2023. What were your thoughts on that? Good move from the Bunnies or no?
Yeah, they had to resign him. He's the leader of their team. There's no issue from me about Sam Burgess re-signing with him, considering that was the first club he signed within the NRL. You must be loyal to them. It was Russell Crowe that gave him the opportunity from England. I'm pretty sure he used to play for Bradford, the Bulls, over there in the Super League. Came over as a youngster to the NRL because he wanted to test himself in the best competition or rugby league competition in the world. And he's proven himself to become one of the most dominant, one of the best forwards ever to play the game.
Clive Churchill medal.
That's right.
Speaks for itself.
That was unbelievable, that grand final. So, well done, Sam Burgess, for getting another 5-year extension, and I guess he's going to end his career here in the NRL.
Looks like it.
What about you?
I agree with you. He has been a very key part of their team for the past few years. My issue was he's missed about a quarter of their games this year because of just pure stupid decisions and lack of discipline. So I'm not too sure about his future. Maybe 5 years is a little too much. I don't know. I'm just hesitant. I'm not his biggest fan this year. I think he really hasn't proven himself enough for a 5-year contract. I think that's a little over the top. But we'll see. I'm happy to be proven wrong. Moving on now, we'll go to a topic you're most passionate about, Hoonz. We'll speak about JT. So what kind of legacy do you think JT has left on the game?
You know what? JT his legacy will never die. You see, there are specific things that he's done in his past that really put a shining light on the game of rugby league. Like his interactions with the young fans that were there. He was the first guy to ever pick up the tee, the kicking tee. And now you see that a lot of NRL players are starting to implement that. You know, they would kick the ball for a goal and then pick up the tees. Now he started that.
Yep,
no doubt. Giving his headgear away, his boots, his passion off the field for his people, the indigenous people of Australia. What else? Man, just his commitment to rugby league in general, to all fans. I think he will be well respected for the rest of his time. And that's, I think, to the fans themselves, that his last, he will leave a lasting impression. But I think it's the way that he played the game too. You can't forget the way that he played. He's the best competitor I've ever seen in my life. He's the greatest. He competed for everything. That's why he's a future immortal as well. He's always the first guy there. He never gives up, and that's that Queensland attitude, the maroon attitude. That's why they were so great in the era. They just had great players come through. That's once in a lifetime generation of players. He was definitely one of them. And to me, Nick, he's the GOAT. I think that he's the greatest of all time. To me, and I think that other people will have other opinions about other players, but just that lasting impression on field, just phenomenal. The amount of wins he's accumulated over the years. He's the reason why the Cowboys became such a dominant team in the NRL for almost at least 10 years. One of the best teams. It was only this year that, unfortunately, the team didn't gel, which I was a bit disappointed. But never questioned Jonathan Thurston. I never questioned him once, because you look at his stats. His stats say other things. Critics were saying, did JT, or fans were saying JT's played 1 year too long. They don't know what they're talking about. Because look at him. He's played all year this year, and not only that, he's the highest try assist half in the game. No, not just the half, but all up. He has the most try assists in the year. He's basically been there for the Cowboys when they needed him most. It's just a shame that he couldn't go out with a bang, but I'm glad that he ended his career like how he did against the Titans. That just proved how great he was.
Yep.
What about you, Nick? And I think that we'll actually bring in a special guest too after your talk, because we know that this guy knows a lot of knowledge about Jonathan Thurston as well.
All right, I'll keep mine short and sweet then. I think you are right. I think I'd love to see that picking up the tee just kept in the game, because JT did start that. That was him solely, and to see that carried on, because other than that, it's really difficult to leave a forever lasting impression on the NRL. It's impossible to just change the game yourself, but little things like that are so important. I think that's going to be so cool to see players do that next year if they implement that. That'd just be awesome. I think, to me, what JT proved was he was more about his spirit than anything else. To me, he seemed just like a kid playing footy. You could pay him as little money at whatever club. He just wanted to play the game. He just loved the nature of it. And I love to see that. I don't think he had the ability to control a game like the rest of some of the other great halfbacks. But I think him being present in a team has the biggest effect. The Maroons proved it last year. When JT was there, he, to me, didn't play that good of a game. I'm repeating myself. I've said this on podcasts before. He didn't play that good of a game. But him being there helped the Maroons win. Just his spirit, his passion that he brought to that team is what carried them over the line. And I think that's something I've never seen any other player bring to the game, and I doubt I will ever see that again. So absolute credit to JT. He is a legend of the game. He's no doubt going to be an immortal.
Easily.
And you can't thank him enough for what he's done for our game.
Yeah.
And I think it's time to bring in a special guest. Ra, welcome back.
Morning, boys. Great to be here. Great to be here once again.
Great to have you back. So let's hear your thoughts on JT's legacy.
Yeah, I'll keep it short as well. You guys pretty much said everything that's needed to be said. But what can you say about the man? Potentially the greatest of all time, in my opinion, as well. We had many great halves, but none that it was effective that he was. Especially the competitiveness. That's why everyone's going to remember, and everyone after his life, everybody will remember, because he will be an immortal, future immortal. So that's about it, really. But you guys said pretty much everything that needed to be said. So.
But you think about the Maroons, how many times was he the reason why the Maroons won the game? Plenty. And he was the reason why the Maroons in 2006 basically came back to win that game. He was the guy that broke the line about 15 metres out from their own try line. And then he gave a 20-metre ball to Brent Tate, who ran down the sideline to score a try. Just things like that. And then just started the dynasty.
Yep.
Basically, Lockie finished it. Another future immortal. But Lockie finishes it. And then the rest is history.
Exactly.
And you notice, like, certain things. It's like you said, the game 2 of 2017. He comes in, pressure on him. Not one of his best games, but you understand because he just came back from injury. But the Maroons needed him to win the series.
Well, his season ended in that game as well.
Yep.
But that just shows the toughness of the man, the mentality of the man, everything that we said, the competitiveness. He wasn't going to come off, no way.
The
But
pressure.
it just showed. When it all comes down, when in doubt, give it to JT and he'll win you the game.
Yep.
Just like that pressure kick on the sideline. It was him. You know? So when in doubt, JT's your man, your go-to guy.
GOAT.
Fair enough. I think that sums up all I had to say about JT. I think you guys
Same
have
here. Yeah.
done a fantastic job
Go.
there.
Yeah.
All right, well, we'll move on to finals now. And how good is the NRL competition? 2 points separating 8th and 1st. 2 competition points. That's 1 win. The top 4 finished on the same competition points, and the bottom 4 finished on the same competition points.
How great was that? Right. What is your thoughts?
Well, let me just say this, is that it's just incredible to watch. A lot of people are critics with the NRL competition. Yeah, we had bad calls. We said it on this podcast about ref and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, how close is the competition now? Just one particular move changed the whole dynamic of the NRL competition. And that was Cooper Cronk leaving Melbourne Storm to go to the Sydney City Roosters. And now look at we actually got a competition for once where nobody can predict who's going to win the title this year. I can't predict it. I can't give a 100% certainty that someone's going to make the grand final and someone's going to win the grand final. It's game on. And that's what we love. We want a competition that's even. Boys, Nick, I'll go back to you.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think that's what really makes it a competition, is that balance. So it's crucial to have, and it's great to see the NRL is probably the most successful with it, really. I think even the AFL at this point in time, still a fair bit of distance between 1st place and 8th place.
Yep.
So it is completely unparalleled.
Not just AFL, Super Rugby as well. You know, you already knew who was going to win it.
Yep. Yeah, there was
Carry on, Nick.
no doubts. So, I mean, see, I didn't even know who was going to win the minor premiership until, the 2nd or 3rd last game of the round. That's how tight the competition is. And I think that's going to lead to a great finals. It is so unpredictable. Absolutely unpredictable. I think, I kind of want to go through each team, but I won't. To me, my wild card is the Warriors. I haven't seen a Warriors team this good. I don't think ever. I know they made the grand final in 2010. Was it 2011? 2011. But I think this Warriors side is better than that side.
I think so too. I agree with you guys. I think that this competition is just ridiculous. I love the fact that it is so close. Like Ra said, like yourself said, Nick, is that it's so close that you don't know a guaranteed 100% that who's going to win. But I'm with you. My wild card is the Warriors. I think that they have discipline, they have structure, which Blake Green actually brings to the team.
Yep.
But they still got the Warriors spirit of off-the-cuff play.
Yep.
And that's when they're at the most dangerous.
Oh, when they score, I can't remember who scored the try last week against the Raiders. But he's taken the ball to centre, and he's made a bit of a run, and he hasn't looked at all from
Peter Hiku.
Peter Hiku. And
Phenomenal.
He's taken a few steps out back of the hand offload, straight to the winger, never looked. And that's what the Warriors bring.
Yep.
They bring that, as you said, off the cuff.
And I think the biggest transformation is that not only have they brought in the right players like Tohu Harris, who could potentially be the buy of the year because he's been phenomenal for the Warriors.
Yep.
Although maybe injuries just gone against him for the best buy of the year. But I got to say, the transformation of Isaac Luke, he is such a key part to that Warriors team that when they're on a roll, he's so lethal.
Yep.
He's so dangerous. I think that we know this. Well, Cameron Smith is still there. We know that he's the best rake in the game. I would say not as by far as he used to be because he is getting older.
Yep.
But I say that if we're looking at form guide with all the hookers in the NRL, we know that Damien Cook is up there. We know Isaac Luke is up there, and we know I would give it more to Cameron Smith, just because I guess he's the GOAT of the hooker position. But I gotta say, man, I think Isaac Luke has been, to me, Isaac Luke has been the best hooker and the most crucial key part to the Warriors as a hooker. See, Damien Cook, I think that he's an X factor, but I don't think he's as crucial as Greg Inglis is to the Rabbitohs. Where Isaac Luke is crucial to the Warriors' hopes of success.
Yep.
I agree.
And then obviously Roger Tuivasa-Sheck. That's the Roger everyone knows. He's been phenomenal this year as well and has actually shown leadership this year.
Yep.
I agree with you, Nick. I think that they're the wild card in this whole race.
I won't lie. I was so happy when I found out the Panthers finished 5th instead of the Broncos. I was so nervous because the Warriors, you know they're going to pull something out of the bag.
Yep.
You just know they are.
Well, we know that they're the first 8th place team to ever beat back in the old system where they beat the first place, which was Melbourne Storm. So we know the Warriors can make a run for it. And I have a feeling that I think they're going to explode from 8th. I don't think they care if they're in 8th place.
No.
Because it's too close.
They can do it from anywhere.
Yeah, I agree. Like, if it's wild card, I actually got 2. It's the Warriors and the Broncos. But the Warriors, like you guys said, tapped on Isaac Luke, Tohu Harris. But Roger Tuivasa-Sheck is definitely my Dally M this year. I just can't see. He was phenomenal as a leader this year as well. Yeah, some games, he got punked once, but other than that, it was against a player that actually did it to him. But overall, like I said, it's the Broncos that is also the wild card. Everybody's been underestimating the Broncos, but like I said, it's their halves. It comes down to their halves. And I'm not going to lie, Cody Nikodima, at the moment, if you're going by form guide with all the halves, that guy's been phenomenal, been scoring every game. And if he's on fire, they're winning. Broncos are winning. Not just winning, destroying teams. And their form guide up to the final series has just been phenomenal.
Yep.
So now they're peaking at the right time.
They are.
And
Took the words out of my mouth, right?
Dragons, watch out. And whoever's versing
Panthers.
If the Dragons do get eliminated, not saying that the Dragons are probably, to me, the Dragons are probably the weakest at this stage, just with the mere fact of injuries, their form guide.
Yep.
I'm expecting the Broncos to win at Suncorp, but whoever's versing, like I predicted before, podcast like a month ago, 2 months ago, I said the Broncos will make the prelim finals. Am I going to be right? We'll just have to wait. Tune in on Sunday where I'll be at the game.
It is a big call because they have to verse the loser of Rabbitohs Storm. And I would not want to be facing either of those teams because they are... Storm, I think they'll take the loss with a grain of salt. They didn't have Billy. They weren't in top flight, and they only lost by 6 points to a Panthers side that really, really turned up. So I think the Storm are pretty well set.
That was a weak Storm side, so I give them a pass with that against the Panthers.
Yep.
Because they they
agree.
didn't have Cameron Munster, they didn't have Billy Slater.
Yep.
Obviously, Will Chambers deserves to be suspended because of his silliness.
Yep.
He's been silly all year. But if they get the cavalry back, which they are this weekend, with Billy Slater back, Cameron Munster back, it just changes the team completely.
It does.
Because those young halves couldn't handle the pressure.
Yeah.
Cameron Smith actually did too much in that game. And that's what was their problem. But we know Craig Bellamy, just like Wayne Bennett for the Bronx, like Ra touched on, is that the Broncos, I actually think that the Warriors are the wild card, the Broncos are the X factor. Because their halves are different. That Anthony Milford set up try to Corey Oates. That was ridiculous. That came out of nowhere.
Yep.
He regathers the ball, ducks under the tackle, runs like 40 metres, kicks it to Corey Oates, who picks it up out of midair, and then runs all the way to score a try. That's what the Broncos can do, and they are so dangerous. I think for the Broncos' sake, they would probably rather play the Rabbitohs just because the Storm has a mental edge over the Bronx.
The Storm just seem to have it over the Broncos.
Yeah, that mental edge.
They are the only team the Broncos never beat.
Yeah. Because I feel that they can actually beat the Broncos. The Rabbitohs, sorry.
Yeah.
I believe it could be the Rabbitohs versus the Broncos. So
To me, that seems most likely. Hey,
Yeah.
I reckon Storm will.
Just-
Where are they playing? Amy Park? No, they're
Amy
playing
Park.
at Amy Park.
Amy Park.
Come on.
Yeah, it's not been a
almost full
fortress.
strength side.
It hasn't been a fortress for the Storm. But you wait. When the cavalry comes
Yeah,
back,
that's right.
it changes.
It definitely changes.
That's a huge change. Regardless of that. But like you guys said, 2 wild cards, Warriors, Broncos. If the Bronx make it, watch out. Especially if they if they have a sniff. But to turn to the Dragons, they've been injury prone at this stage. But then it's their forward pack. It's their forward pack that just ever since Origin, they haven't been the same.
No.
They haven't been effective. But then what does it come down to? Because in this stone age, all the young forward packs that have been in Origin, mentally they can't back it up into their clubs. Usually back in the days, this is just back in the past with all the greats, the Maroons, even the Blues, and that they have the mental edge of, once you play the Origin, when you go back to club, you perform even better.
Yep.
And then they all peak at their optimum level. Like their prime level, they're just up there, they're the best, that they're the best forwards. But now, with that mental edge that the forwards used to have to back up each game at their club after Origin is gone. Do you agree?
Yeah, because you wouldn't call that all those guys that played Origin the best players in their positions.
No.
Back in the past, like Ra touched on, is that you would say that no, they're the best in their position.
Yep.
Like, for example, the halves. I wouldn't say that they're the best halves in the competition. I would rather say no. There's still Cooper Cronk and Jonathan Thurston running around. Cameron Smith is still there.
Yep.
You wouldn't say that they're the best in their positions. Then you say like the second rows for each team. I would say Tohu Harris is almost better than most of them. So I
agree.
I
So
agree.
yeah, and even Tavita Pangai Jr. has played better than
He has
those
done
guys.
so well,
They're not even playing Origin, but they're better.
It's funny because the only person that I could really name, or a couple of names in Origin that comes back and always backs it up, is Mr. GI, Greg Inglis, and Mr. Billy Slater. They're the ones that continue them. That's what makes the difference between the champion players and just star players. Star qualities, because I could name each player, but they're not consistent as those guys are.
Well, here's something to actually think about too, if we're going to talk about that, is actually there's one person that was in Origin and it felt like he didn't reach his optimum level in Origin, but when he went back to club level, he's one of the best centers in the game, and that's James Roberts. Because that guy, in Origin, he was shut out of the game.
Well,
really,
he's up against GI.
Oh yeah,
Come on.
Oh, okay, yeah, makes sense, makes sense. But he was shut out of the game for New South Wales. But when he comes back to the Broncos, god damn, he performed.
But it's funny as well. Oh, sorry, Nick.
you're right.
But it's funny as well because as you say that, is that because the Blues didn't use him properly, or is it because he wasn't performing to his peak? Because when he goes back to Broncos,
I understand.
Cody Nikodima gives him early ball.
Yeah.
And he's phenomenal.
I would say that probably more that it wasn't in New South Wales game plan to really shift the ball.
Yeah.
Early ball to James Roberts, he would have gassed Inglis.
Yeah, their game plan was more strength and speed.
Yeah.
So-
they actually, if you really think about it, they went through the middle.
Yeah, ruck
That's
speed,
Brad
ruck
Fittler.
speed.
That's Brad Fittler coaching, yeah.
Which is smart.
Damien Cook was just
He was
perfect
terrorizing
for that role.
Yeah.
He did
And-
so well.
If we're going by that, but to me, Matt Gillett is also in the same. I regard him as the same type of mentality as GI and Billy Slater. Like he always backs it up in club after Origin. So he's probably the only forward that really does it that I can think of. That at the moment mentally he's got that toughness to back it up.
Matt Gillette's got to be the best second row in the game right now.
Well,
Obviously, he's been injured all
I
season.
wouldn't say that.
Oh, who would you put above Matt Gillett?
Tohu Harris.
No, I would say that
Not as consistent.
I would say as the two best second rows in the game. Well, Matt Gillett is out.
Yeah.
Gillette's out.
Yeah.
That's the only thing going against him because of injury. But I would say if he came back, him and Tohu Harris are the best. No, because Tohu Harris is so consistent. He was consistent with the Storm. He made a big difference to the Warriors. You really don't see him really underperform for the Warriors. He's just always he's like one of their best forwards, easily. So you see those two guys, they're always consistent. I would have them, if I had made an NRL side, they'll be my two second rows. Obviously, Jason Tamalolo locks down. But
Yeah, no doubt.
but I would say that those two, even though we all know Gillet's injured, But, dude, I consider that guy so awesome.
That's
He's
something
such a
I
great
haven't been following. Is he back at all for finals?
No, he's out for the season.
Out for
Sorry.
It's a
I
shame, isn't
I
it?
was predicting that he would have came back and it would have been perfect timing.
Perfect time for the...
But unfortunately, he's out for the season.
I should be upset with that, but I mean, Pangai Jr. and Jaden Sewer have done all right in the second round.
Yeah,
so
they have. They have.
really not too
Is Alex Glenn still there?
Alex Glenn's playing, yeah. Sorry, Jaden Sewer played when Alex Glenn didn't. And I thought Jaden did a really good job.
Yeah. Considering Alex Glenn is another consistent second row.
Yep.
I really love him, man. Like, I don't understand. He didn't even make the Kiwi squad, which was annoying. The wider Kiwi squad. So I don't understand.
That's crazy. What about the Panthers? Thoughts on the Panthers? Do you reckon they'll make it far or they'll get pipped in the first semis?
No. Warriors are our wild card. I'm backing the Warriors in this week.
Yeah, me too. I think the Warriors will be too strong. Are they playing at ANZ Stadium, I heard?
Yeah, but to me, it's the mere fact that the Panthers' defense is not good enough. Not good enough. They will have the right to... They lost Dean Whare. I'm positive Dean Whare. Is he playing?
Not too sure.
I'm like, he's defensively, like, he can lock down his side.
Yeah.
But
He's
defensively, they leak in too many points. And against the Warriors, that's the wrong team to do it to.
He's not playing.
Yeah, that's a big loss.
That's a huge loss. Dean Whare's a huge loss. So if that's the case, they don't know how to lock down defensively in the first half. They're going to get pipped by the Warriors if they keep doing that. Because they surge, 20 minutes to go? But against the Warriors can also surge. So it's just, to me, it just feels like just too much for the Panthers to handle.
Especially as well, Panthers are talking about how they beat the Storm last week and how it's a positive thing, but they beat the Storm by 6 points with Cameron Smith playing at hooker, halfback, and 5/8.
Exactly.
So true.
It wasn't exactly a very big win.
And without the cavalry, without Billy Slater and Cameron Munster, that's such a...
How can you really count it?
Yeah.
Especially when it's 6 points.
Wait, didn't they have
right.
they had a young fullback and 2 young halves, and only Cameron Smith.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, Cameron Smith. He's one player, but
I agree.
he still needs good halves. And
Was Nelson Solomona playing?
no, he was injured
he
too.
was injured
So they lost a lot of people through injury.
And I would understand if they beat the Storm by at least 20.
Yeah.
Then we're talking.
In which case, go on,
then we're talking. But you beat an understrength Storm side. That's like the Titans. They just lost to the Storm side, undermanned as well. The Storm beat Titans, but then after Panthers beat the Storm, and I was just like, it's just because you had just a little bit more than the Titans. You had key players, but that's about it, really. I can't really say much.
Are we going to talk about the Roosters and the Sharks?
I don't really care enough. I think Roosters will win that game. To me, though, the Sharks, the Storm was bogey team.
I agree.
I think the Sharks are the only team in the competition that have the mental edge over the Storm. The only team. I don't know what it is, but
it's hard to explain.
bring down the Storm.
They grind the Storm out. They
But it's not with good football.
they just grind them out. They're two of the most. If we're gonna look at the statistics of both teams, I know Storm fans and Sharks fans may hate, but it's just true that they're probably the most grubbiest teams in the NRL. Two teams, one can slow it down, the other can slow it down, but they're both grubby. They just don't. I love the rivalry though.
Yep.
I think the Storm and the Sharks are actually, they can take each other on.
Yeah.
Really, they can bring each other down. So it's interesting to see the dynamics of that. We're about to find out, but. Valentine Hoonz and James Tedesco, that battle will be great.
Yeah, it's going to be
But I
great
think that the Roosters with Cooper Cronk there,
that's the difference.
Luke Keary,
that's the
James
difference.
Tedesco,
Latrell.
Latrell Mitchell. Nearly their whole team is pretty damn good. But
I found the Roosters forward pack to be a little underwhelming to what I've seen in the past.
Yeah, well,
just only a little bit. They're still a very good side.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to undermine them at all.
I feel like that the Roosters still can lose. That's the problem. If the Sharks bring it down to their level, they'll beat the Roosters.
I agree.
But I think, to me, the Roosters and the Broncos don't stoop to that level. That's why the Roosters and Broncos always beat the Sharks. Because they always rise above it.
So true.
Don't know why the Storm have to, but they drop. They lose that mental game. And it costs them the full game by the end of it.
Yeah. Yeah, agree.
And especially with Cronk gone. Last year, the Sharks wasn't really an issue for them. They could clean up the Sharks with the big three all together. But
Yep.
like I said, Cronk really evened the competition out by moving to
It's so true, Ra. So true. He did, didn't he?
Yeah, I've actually just got a head-to-head here. Cronulla and Melbourne. Last 5 games, Cronulla have won 4.
Wow.
Crazy.
That's unbelievable.
Yep.
The Cowboys and Sharks battles have been good over the years. We've knocked each other out a lot, and we had the honours of knocking them out last year. So they're lucky we're not there.
But then again, they did cheat to beat us in that semi back a few years ago.
They did win the prelim the year before that as well to knock the Cowboys out 2016.
I'm glad that we knocked them out last year just for revenge.
Yeah, that was great. That was great to see that.
But yeah, what was it? 7 tackle, try. I haven't still got over that.
So,
in the corner.
guys, just before I head off, since are we done with the top 8?
I think
our
so.
8 in it.
Yeah.
Predictions on grand finalists. Nick, you go first.
Jeez, all right.
Ra putting us on the spot.
I know, right? Just throwing a spanner in the works. I'm going to go 2006 rematch. Broncos Melbourne.
Wow.
Like it. I like it.
I think to me, if the Broncos win that semi-final, I think Melbourne will win the first game against the Rabbitohs, and so Broncos should win against the Dragons. In which case, it's Broncos versus Rabbitohs. I feel as if the Broncos should win that game. They did it a few weeks ago. It's going to be a close game, don't get me wrong. I'm no means confident in saying this, but I think they definitely can win that. That's a better way to word it. And then if they do, Sydney or Cronulla, Roosters or Cronulla, Broncos will beat them. I'm confident in that. In which case, they'd make the grand final. It's that semi-final, that first semi-final round that's got me down.
So your hopes based on the fact that the Storm beat the Rabbitohs.
Storm beat the Rabbitohs. In which case, they'd have to play either between the Roosters, Sharks, Panthers, or Warriors in the prelim final. Any of those 4. And I think the Storm can beat all of those teams. Okay. Oh, except the Sharks. I'm in trouble.
Yeah. Awesome, Nick. So, Broncos Storm. Hoonz.
All right. I would go for... This is what I'm going to go for. I believe...
It's difficult, eh?
This is a long shot, but if the Warriors turn up, I think that they could go back to the grand final, and then they won't make the final series again for another 6 years. But I think that they can go to the grand final against...
Keep in mind in saying this, Hoonz has sacrificed Melbourne or Rabbitohs making the grand final.
Yeah, well, the Warriors will play either Cronulla or the Sharks or the Roosters in week 2. Then they move on to play Melbourne or Souths.
Yeah.
I would say that they will go against potentially, I reckon it could be like this. This is what I'm going to go for. Bugger it. I feel like this is going to be the first year where one of the top 4 teams, or all top 4 teams don't make it. It would be the Warriors versus Broncos grand final. I think that what's going to happen is that this is just throwing it in the dark, but what's going to happen, I think that the top 4, although yes, they've been great, but not as great as you would expect from the past. The Broncos, they have X factors in their halves. If their halves turn up and they show their X factor qualities, and they have dangerous left and right combinations where James Roberts is on the right, Corey Oates on the left, Darius Boyd's still there in the back. I think the Broncos could make the grand final, and I think the Warriors is a danger team to anybody. Doesn't matter who it is, they can beat anybody on their daily. So I'm just going to do it. Yeah, it's going to be Broncos, Warriors, grand final, Warriors to win the grand final.
Big call. But I would love to see that. Ra, come on. What have you got?
I want that. First in history to do it. No top 4 team. Come on, Bronx. Come on, Warriors.
It's a bit too much for the 8 to handle. It's a bit too much.
Yeah.
I think one of the 8 could do it, but to me, it depends. It really depends on how the top 4 plays it with their rest off. But if all goes according to plan, I'm going to go. I'm just going to wing this. Even though I see Broncos will make the prelim finals, I think it will be Broncos, South Sydney. I think it will be Broncos, South Sydney. I think it will be Broncos, South Sydney.
That'd be a good grand final.
I think.
Wait, is that possible?
Yep.
Yeah, sorry, no, it is.
I think
If
Rabbitohs can do it. I think the Rabbitohs can beat the Melbourne Storm.
Yep.
That would have hurt last week for the Melbourne side.
Wow, so you're saying
if
the Broncos are going to
If
knock
the Broncos
out
want to prove that they can win the grand final,
That's
they
the
need to
biggest
beat the
hurdle.
Storm.
They need to beat the Storm.
Yeah.
They need to.
I mean, they don't need to. If the Storm win and then they beat the Rabbitohs, beat the Roosters, Storm might lose to the Warriors there. All the Sharks.
I don't know. Warriors Broncos.
Maybe.
Warriors Broncos.
Warriors,
grand final. That's funny how we've all gone for the Bronx. I just feel like there's something brewing there. That's why.
There's an X factor element to it.
Yeah.
There's an X factor element.
And they still got structural play with Darius Boyd. He's just phenomenal.
Yep.
2-on-3, it's over for you.
Yeah.
Darius is not going to make a mistake.
Just the mere fact that English is back for South Sydney,
Yeah.
I just feel like that they
Okay,
have the
gotcha.
edge now.
Yeah.
Okay.
No more Cooper Cronk for their kicking game. So it really nullifies it. Cameron Munster's not the best.
Nah.
No.
And only Cameron Smith can do it. But how long can Cameron Smith? They can't keep kicking it and then after that, because what? English is versing, doesn't matter who he versed, what, Will Chambers or the other one?
Curtis Scott.
Yeah, well, usually he would actually be up against Will Chambers, so he's nothing to Inglis. Will Chambers is nothing to Inglis.
Lateral Mitchell owned Will Chambers.
Yeah, that's right.
And Greg Inglis is 10 times better than him. so we're talking about that. And Vunivalu's not the best. He can fill
Make
under
errors,
pressure.
yeah.
Josh
Yeah.
Adekar's dropped form after Origin.
Wow,
Yeah,
Ra's
completely
going all
dropped
out
form.
on the Storm.
And Slater's just, they're really relying on Slater and Smith.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
Bromwich, that's it.
and I would say Munster has to turn up for his running game. Because
Munster, but we've seen Munster collapse too, fall. So, I'm saying that if the Broncos wants to make the grand final, they've got to beat Melbourne. So I would truly believe it's South Sydney versus Broncos.
Woo!
Okay, big calls. I like how the only factor we agreed on was Broncos.
Broncos.
I'm really
It's
happy
just
with that.
it's
Thanks,
something
boys.
about them
something
that to
about
me is that no team, like I just, if they can get over the hurdle, okay, this is my prediction. They beat Melbourne. If South Sydney beats Melbourne and then they beat Melbourne, that's if they get past the Dragons. Can't forget that they have to pass the Dragons first. But at Suncorp, it's just another atmosphere there.
To me, it seems like the Dragons are the least of the Broncos worries.
Yeah.
But not saying the Dragons can't beat the Broncos.
I'm going to throw it out there. Ben Hunt to choke against the Broncos.
Oh, in front of the Suncorp Stadium crowd.
I think the pressure's going to get to him in a big game.
Both.
But this is at Suncorp.
He's
Exactly.
proven he's not up for big games.
No.
At
But
all.
Gareth Woodup is, and that's the only reason why that they have a shot at it. But they're playing for something as well. It's Gypsy's last game if they lose. And
Yeah,
he's
that's
been
true.
phenomenal. He's been the most consistent player for the Dragons,
Yeah,
which
for
is
a long
Jason
time.
Nightingale. Gypsy, as a nickname. Is that correct in you?
Yep.
Yeah, Hoonz. Yeah, but regardless of that, they're playing for something as well. They're playing. They want a fairy tale ending. Do they really want him out right now? When considering they were in the top 4 and then they lost that, so they are playing for something as well. But like we said, X factors, wild card, Broncos.
We're just,
Okay.
tipping. We're just predicting a shot in the dark. Really, my one's
really
way
are.
off. My one's like way off the rails.
Yeah, but I think yours is not favourite as in most likely to happen. Favourite as in people would want it to happen.
yeah. How great would
that's what
that?
it seems like,
How
yeah.
great would that be?
Yeah, top 14 gets.
I'm sick of the top 4 teams. I want the bottom half of the 8 to knock out the top 4.
Yeah,
You,
turn
you,
up.
you never know. It
Yeah.
could be a repeat of 2003, Panthers, Roosters.
Could be.
So
For all we know, we just can't predict it. How good is this? We'll move on to our final segment, our tips for this week.
Yeah. Thanks,
Now-
Ra. Thanks, Ra, for joining
boys,
us.
thank you.
I think we should let Ra do one of the tips.
Oh, you want me to? All right.
So,
then.
to me,
thanks.
because
Yeah,
we've-
okay.
Sounds good.
we've all predicted Broncos in the grand final, is it fair that we just agree on their tip this week?
Broncos to win. Suncorp.
Yeah.
So
That's
that
Sunday.
means there's 3 tips left, 1 each. Work with you
All
guys?
right, sounds good.
Everyone happy with that? All right. Tomorrow night, and Ra, I'm going to throw this one at you. Rabbitohs and Storm at Amy Park. Who have you got?
Rabbitohs. Rabbitohs.
Oh, why did we give it to Ra?
I know Nick doesn't want the Rabbitohs to win, but to me, it's not the mere fact that they beat the Tigers last week. Yes, and then they lost to the Raiders the week before that. We understand, but understand that was only Greg England's first game back. But now
He looks good though.
GI, how many big plays has he been making throughout Origin and now with the Rabbitohs? Just so many. And this guy is prime for finals footy.
Yep.
Melbourne Storm, they're not a factor to him mentally. Him and Sam Burgess, mentally to them, Storm isn't a factor. Like, even though they have Billy Slater and Cameron Smith, to me, they nullify that with their 2 champions.
Yeah, okay,
So
gotcha.
it's champions. They nullify each other.
Will,
It's a round.
Will Chambers not playing as well.
Oh,
So whoever's there, good luck, because now you got to stop the unstoppable GI.
yeah.
And so the champions are nullified. It's really up to each other player in that team. And to me, Rabbitohs have more. They just have more class. Where
Well, the Burgess boys are they're on
they're
form.
phenomenal.
They are.
All 3 of them.
Bromwich can only handle so much.
Yeah.
Like
He's going to need the rest of his pack to step up.
yeah.
Yep.
And he will. You know that he'll lead the front, but.
Only
I
so
say
much one
Rabbitohs.
man can do.
Yeah, sorry, Rabbitohs.
Okay.
Cut it short, Rabbitohs.
Fair play. All right, we'll move on. Hoonz, I'll throw this one to you. Panthers Warriors at ANZ Stadium. Who have you got?
I've got the Warriors.
Yeah, okay, you tipped in the grand final. That was probably
Warriors. But I don't think it matters. I think Penrith fans will turn up, but knowing a lot of Kiwis that live in Australia, the Warriors will just have either more or just as much.
Yep.
Because they all come out in force in Australia. It doesn't matter where they are, regardless if it was in Brisbane, Sydney,
Especially
anywhere.
when it's a final side.
Yep.
And it's looking like this.
I feel like that the Warriors just have the better edge, the better spine. They have the better spine. I think that the matchup between Sean Johnson and Blake Green versus Maloney and Cleary.
Oh, what a great
Nathan
battle.
Cleary. That's an awesome battle.
that's
But the
pretty
problem is the Warriors got Roger Tuivasa-Sheck as fullback. Don't know who's going to be the fullback for the Penrith.
Delene Martin-Zalesniak, I think
Oh, sorry,
it was.
but I'm sorry, but Roger's just better. He's better and he's in form. And then it comes down to the hookers. Now Isaac Luke destroys whoever they've got in front of them.
Destroys them.
Yeah.
So I've got the Warriors. Boom, Warriors, because they're my grand final.
And Kikau is versing Tohu Harris.
Yeah, see,
Yeah.
Toru Harris will nullify him. Last time, I think the Warriors got destroyed by the Panthers.
No
and
Tohu Harris.
But no Toru Harris to stop that.
To me, the Warriors, as I said, the wild card. To me, they can beat any other team in
Anybody.
this comp. But at the same time, I feel as if the Warriors could lose to any of the other 7 teams.
If they focus enough, man, if they play the structural and, well, obviously it starts with your engine room, your forward pack.
Yep.
If they can keep that up with their off-the-cuff play, they're just dangerous. They're
Yep.
so dangerous.
Yep.
It's
They're unpredictable.
Yeah, they're so unpredictable. And I think that's what actually, that's why I think I've thrown in the Broncos there too. So, because they're unpredictable now because they don't have a structural half. They're more off the cuff, those
Yep.
two halves.
Yep.
Yeah, they don't have a game manager, really, in the
Yep.
Broncos sense. But I'll go Warriors.
Yeah, good call. All right, final game, Allianz Stadium,
Warriors.
Roosters versus Sharks. I'm going to go Roosters. I think I'm in the majority there. No real need for
Why?
explanation.
Why, Nick? Why Roosters? Why not Sharks?
To me, the Sharks haven't been as strong a force as what they've been in the past. To me, I've never watched the Sharks this year thinking they're going to comfortably win this game. To me, it's still a shock they finished top 4. Honestly, it really is.
Me too.
I don't think they've really been a top 4 team. I think they just did, just a little bit enough to get there. So, to me, the Roosters coming off a big win as well.
I'm going to throw in controversy there too. I feel like this. I feel like the Sharks have gotten away with the referees in their pocket for a long time. The Raiders game.
Controversial.
Last it's just ridiculous of how many penalties has been against other teams when they've been playing all crucial calls, like the Warriors game, the forward pass. That was a forward pass. Simple.
Oh, yeah.
What were they doing? They had night vision goggles or something. Yeah, they went and watched
that
it.
wasn't the big one. The big one was when the Raiders
No, I just said that. I said the Raiders as well. So,
at the end of their season.
Weren't they back-to-back weeks or something?
yep.
I swear that there were two big calls that won the Sharks game.
Even last week, who did they play? They played
Bulldogs.
Yeah, they played the Bulldogs, and it was a stupid penalty that was called against the Bulldogs, and I was like, wait, why did they get called a penalty?
Yeah.
So I don't know. People have been criticizing the Broncos for having the referees. I was one, but I just like to have a little banter, but not serious. But I feel like this, man. I truly believe the referees have gone against any team against the Sharks.
Just while we're on that topic as well, there was an article Fox Sports released about the Broncos being refereed by Sutton and how he has such a big win rate for the Broncos. And he's like 65% or something this year as opposed to a Broncos 55% win rate. People are saying how significant that is. And to me, that really annoys me because I looked this up. I went and found the stats myself. Over the last, I think it's since 2010, so about 8 years, Broncos win percentage has been at 57. Under Sutton refereeing, it's been 59%. That is not a significant difference. That is absolutely minute.
Not even close.
And to suggest that he's in the Broncos' back pocket is absolutely rubbish.
Well, how many of those games has he reffed at Suncorp? You put that into factors too.
Exactly.
Suncorp Stadium is kind of like a fortress for Broncos. They hardly lose there unless they're the Melbourne Storm and then they come in.
Yeah, that's it.
Or unless it's a Saturday. Don't know what it is. Broncos can't play on Saturdays.
Yeah, it's kind of weird when you think about that. But Suncorp Stadium is a fortress for the Broncos because they come out in force.
Yep.
Be there on Sunday, Broncos fans.
They were
Which they will. They will.
yeah.
Apparently it's sold out.
Yeah.
So,
Broncos lose the way as well. And that's probably one of their weaknesses in final series is that they're lucky to be at home because away they have this they can win some games, but when they're at home, it's like week one. I remember 2015 week one against the Cowboys. They maintained that. Then they played the Roosters in the prelims and went to the grand finals. But when they went to Townsville to play the Cowboys, I don't know. It's close games between the two, but even when the Broncos went down to Amy Park,
Hoonz.
they didn't get it done.
Ben Hunt. That's
Yeah. I forgot about Ben Hunt. Yeah.
He's going to be the biggest factor in that game, I reckon.
Broncos will be thinking, kick it.
No pun taken, Ben Hunt.
Right, yeah, prediction on first kickoff. Where do you think that's going to go? All right, well, I think that concludes our podcast for this week. Ra, thank you very much for joining us. It's fantastic
Very
to have you
welcome.
back
Thank
as
you for
always.
having me on the show, boys.
Thanks, Ra.
And thank you very much all for listening, and we'll see you guys hopefully next week. This is Nick,
This is Hoonz.
signing off. Thanks, guys.